Here we go. Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
Live from the Hollywood foothills of North Carolina, welcome to a very special edition, a one-of-a-kind, maybe one of many edition of the Confirmed Amos Podcast. That's right. You heard it correctly. The Confirmed Epic Podcast crosses over with the Just Being Amos Podcast, and it is proudly presented by the GWW, Geeks Worldwide Radio Network. And what could be an event so epic that it could lead to this crossover between two iconic podcasts? It's the one, the only, Michael Bay's Transformers, The Last Night. I, of course, am the real Brad Bell, and joining me today from the ATL is my podcasting partner and beyond that, good friend, Mr. Amos of the Just Being Amos Podcast. How you doing tonight, Amos?
Yeah, I'm doing fine, Brad. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure to team up with you, man. Always.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure to team up.
It's some of my favorite podcasts to do with you, Amos, because like you say in the title of your pod, Just Being Amos, it's you, it's no fluff, you don't pull any punches, and you let the audience know exactly what you think. And it was awesome getting to see you in person in Charlotte, North Carolina on Father's Day weekend 2017 at Heroes Con. And that's what we're going to start out the show talking about, Amos, because it's the one time a year that you and I get to meet up, hang out, and talk in person. And it's my favorite comic book convention of the year just because it's focused on comics. And that is Heroes Con in Charlotte, North Carolina, presented by Shelton Drum of the Heroes Aren't Hard to Find comic book store. If you're ever in Charlotte, North Carolina, hit them up. So, Amos, tell me about your show at Heroes Con. What did you like? What did you not like? What were your most memorable moments?
You know what, Brad? I never dislike Heroes Con, man. It's always a great time going there. Because you know what? When I'm at Heroes Con, man, I'm among the people, I would say my people, because, you know, we like the same things, all about comic books, you know, nothing else but comic books, you know what I'm saying? So this year, man, I had a great time, and I've been going to Heroes Con for like 7, 8 years, I think.
I've been going since
7 to 8.
2004 was my first year, man. This was my 13th year.
Yeah, I've been going for the past 7 or 8 years, man. You know, and this was actually my first con ever. Heroes Con. It was the first con ever that I've ever been to.
Yeah, not this Heroes Con. You're talking about 7 years ago.
Yeah, Heroes Con was my first exposure to comic book conventions, you know.
That was a
I
good
never
one.
been to one. Yeah, it was a good one. I think that was a great jumping point for going to conventions, going to Heroes Con. So I've been going ever since. I think I never missed a year at all. Either I was a fan or I was part of, you know, guests for some of my friends in the business or whatever, you know. And like I said, this year, man, was great. Got the chance to sit at some panels. Got to meet some of my favorite artists and writers. And I picked up some goodies, you know, like always. So it was great.
Now, you have a pretty epic story involving one Miss Kelly Sue DeConnick and her husband, Matt Fraction. And that's the story I want you to tell in this special edition of the Confirmed Amos Podcast.
Oh, it's not that special, Brad. Come on, give me some credit, man. It's not that special.
Hey,
Shout out.
How many people run into Kelly Sue, get recognized by Kelly Sue in a hotel lobby, and then get a shout out at a panel with Kelly Sue and Matt Fraction? So you got to let our listeners know about it.
Okay. So it was check-in day. We arrived the day before Heroes Con. It was on a Thursday. I'm checking in at the Westin, and I see Kelly Sue on my right side, right, and I'm with my girlfriend and her daughter. And and I say hey, and I say hey to Kelly. Once again, shout out to Kelly Sue and Matt Fraction, love them. Doing? And she said, hey, how you doing? She runs up and gives me a hug. I say, okay, how are you doing? Everything's fine. And I said, I'll see you on the floor. So the next day, that Friday, I'm on the floor in the convention center. At the convention center, Heroes Con, and I'm talking to Kelly Sue at her table, and she mentioned me in one of her panels. And I'm gonna read the tweet. I'm gonna read the tweet she put on Twitter. Right, I'm gonna read this for you.
Okay.
And the tweet says, I had a tweet. Wait for it. Hold on. Wait for it. I got it.
While you're loading the tweet, I just want to clarify. He meant the show floor, not the hotel floor.
Yeah, the show floor.
I'll meet you on the floor.
Right. So this is what she said on Twitter. She said, I know I have, I said, I now have to find the check-in dude, which is me, and apologize, which would be even weirder. Weirder, I can't say it. Weirder. Okay,
weirder.
I got it.
Just say stranger. Whenever you cannot pronounce a word or your tongue's getting tied, just think of a synonym for that word and use it. Podcast in secret.
Oh, there you go. So she tweeted this, right, man? So when she tweeted this, I turned around and said, I'm that guy. They said, oh, you are that guy, and now we have a story. So I went to their panel, right? It was the Milk Fed panel. You know, that's their brand, Criminal Mastermind. And they was talking about what's projects coming out with Mac Fraction, Terry Dawson, Chip Swiderski, and Kelly Sue. They were talking about what's coming out. And they had a panel, and they had a thing called Q&A. And they did like the Donahue style. Anybody who's familiar with Donahue, it was back in the day, it was a talk show. You know, he always goes to the
Donahue.
Yep. Phil Donahue. He goes to the talk show to the audience, and they go ask questions to the guests and everything like that. So they did it that way. So everybody raising their hand, getting questions answered and stuff like that. So I'm on a far end, right? And so I'm raising my hand. They finally get to me. And so Kelly Sue run over here, runs. Oh, this is my friend Amos. This is Amos. Everybody, and I'm in front of like 100 people, man. 100 people, and she was telling the story and everything. And I all I could do is shake my head. So I went to ask Matt Fraction about Sex Criminals, which is, by the way, a great comic book if you have not read it. And I asked him, are we still gonna have the TV series? And Matt Fraction said, it's Hollywood, we don't know, but it's coming. So I asked Chip about the Spectacular Spider-Man, because he's writing that.
Yep, with the new series coming out this summer.
Yeah, with Andy Kubert, Andy and Adam, the brothers. And I asked him how it is working on Spider-Man. He said, you been 100 times told the story of Spider-Man, right? And Matt Fraction said, yeah, I gave Chip some cards, some girlfriend died, guilt, uncle died, guilt. It's just the guilt, right? So it's just the fact that those two writers and artists, that group of people, they are very appreciative of their fans. They're very appreciative of their fans, man. They do a lot of interaction with their fans during their panels and everything.
Didn't you win a pair of socks as well?
Yeah. So when they answered my question, they had like a garbage bag, and the garbage bag had goodies. Everybody getting comic books, a robe. I turn around, I get like socks with hearts. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So I mean, it was fun, man. I had a fun time, man. And I actually asked her, could she be on my podcast? She told me I got the business card and stuff like that, and she said shoot her an email, and it worked from there. So that was kind of cool.
Teasing probably later in 2017, Miss Kelly Sue DeConnick appearing on the Just Being Amos podcast.
I'm not gonna say when. But I mean, I got the business card. I need an email, because I'm not gonna say anything. It's not it's in the works, but not yet. So, but I'm hoping.
Well,
that was great, man.
I was at the convention as well, covering it as press for Geeks Worldwide, thegww.com, and I attended a panel and got audio of that panel and posted it on Geeks Worldwide right before the Kelly Sue and Matt Fraction panel. In fact, it was in the same conference room. The panel that I attended was the horror writers panel that had Paul Jenkins, most famously known for creating the Sentry for Marvel, Donnie Coates, who writes the book Redneck, and Evan Dorkin, who writes this book Beast of Burden, which is the one about the animals coming to life. So you have three horror writers from then and now, past and present, if you will. And it was really fascinating to get their take, especially considering the different points they are approaching this as far as the status of their career. I mean, you have Paul Jenkins, who's legendary status, Dorkin somewhere in the middle, and Donnie Coates is an up-and-comer in the comic books industry, in particular the horror landscape. So to hear these different angles talk about horror and their influence of horror, man, the process that Donnie Coates talked about when writing Redneck, he puts on an MP3 file that has nothing but screeches and screams and ominous music to get him in the right mindset. And he would talk about how psyched up and on edge he would be when his wife gets home after he's spent all day writing this book. One of the things I also liked about this panel, Amos, is they talked about their greatest influences as far as horror is concerned. Of course, you had the big ones such as Michael Myers and Freddy Krueger, but there was a lot of influence from around the world, including Japanese horror and European style horror.
You know, let me say something about the Japanese horror. They are pretty good.
Like The Grudge?
They're pretty good. Yeah, The Grudge and the what was it?
The Ring.
The Ring? Yeah. So American got it and did something with it, but I really like the original versions, man.
I like The Grudge because it just goes. I mean, The Ring was a staple growing up in the early 2000s. That was the horror movie. The Grudge series was the American adaptations were okay. I would put the first two Grudge films up there with the two Ring films. Of course, forget The Ring that just came out called
I didn't see that.
I heard it was, I mean, it got like lower than Transformers The Last Night on RT. So I wasn't really going to bother with that. But that was a good panel. I usually go to a lot of the big superhero panels, and I wanted to get something different this year out of Heroes Con. I wanted to focus on the horror. I wanted to focus more on up-and-coming talent, because last year I conducted 12 interviews with people like your good friend Mark Bagley and Brandon Fletcher. Got some bigger names in there from Marvel and DC. So I just kind of wanted to take a different approach this year, because that kind of burnt me out. And Amos, one of those creators I got to talk to was a gentleman by the name of Sean Pryor, who is writing a football book called Force, and it's going to be published by Action Labs fall 2017, I think September, just in time for football season is when this book's going to hit. Man, he had a great pitch for this book. He started telling me about it. I'm like, Sean, stop right now. He's like, what? I said, this is too good. I got to get this recorded and post it as a mini podcast. So he was cool with it. And he kickstarted this project that he described as Jerry Maguire meets Ballers meets, there used to be a show, I think it may have been called Gamers or something. There was a football show that came on ESPN. It was really edgy. It was ridiculed.
I remember that.
2000s. Yeah.
NFL was not happy with that at all.
No, they weren't. But he said it was more Jerry Maguire than Ballers, but he said maybe more like a PG-13 Ballers. What's cool about this book is it revolves around a veteran quarterback who's not past his prime, but is coming off an injury, who plays for the Tennessee Bloodhounds. Again, they couldn't use the Titans because this isn't a licensed NFL book, and the lawyers would be, up their ass. However, you have this aging quarterback. A rookie has been drafted high to replace him. So you have that storyline. You have all the stuff's going on with the agents. Fascinating enough, the old quarterback agent is the same agent that the younger guy has, who's also been drafted by the Tennessee Bloodhounds, who it sounds like there's a good dichotomy there of the agent, the business side, and then the on the field stuff. I haven't had the time because I've just been slammed doing a ton of YouTube stuff and podcasts and stuff. I haven't actually got the time to read Force. You're an NFL fan, Amos. We both are. How do you feel about this book as I pitch it to you? Is it something you would check out?
Let me see. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not really big on reading comic books about sports.
If he would have pitched it to you, I think you would have been sold.
Probably so. I had to be there. I had to be there to see to hear him talk about it. And I'm going back to Paul Jenkins, that the panel you went to.
Yeah.
He's working. He got books for Aftershock Comics called Replica.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I haven't read it yet, but he was giving me the pitch, not the pitch, but the summary of the book. This is this guy. He made replicas of himself, and he's an asshole, and so it goes from there, and so I haven't got the chance to read it yet, but I'm going to read it.
Man, Paul's he's a really down to earth and funny, witty
guy.
I
like him.
Yeah,
I like him, man. He came to the comic book shop that I go to, to put out when they first started out Aftershock. It was Joe Pruitt and Paul Jenkins promoting the new book. Man, Paul Jenkins is a pretty cool guy, man. And that's what I'm saying when you go to Heroes Con, man. You get the opportunity to talk to the people, to the artists and writers and everybody in the industry on a friendly basis. You know what I'm saying?
It's unlike any other. There's 3 sacred conventions that are comics focused, and this is the smallest of those 3. There's Heroes Con in Charlotte in June. There's Emerald City Comic Con, which is in Seattle, Washington, in March. And then late October, early November, there's Baltimore Comic Con.
I heard about Baltimore. I want to go to that. I do.
I do too. But even those, not Baltimore, but I've heard that Emerald City starting to get a lot of the celebrity influence and focus is kind of being taken away from comic book creators. That's inevitably going to happen. I want to talk a little bit more about Paul Jenkins because I love the Century. You talked to Paul at the convention. I got to hear his take at the Horror Writers panel. We actually had him back in the day, about probably 2 years ago, on the Capes Crew podcast on Geeks Worldwide. And I want to thank Paul for coming on there and taking the time to shoot the shit with us, in particular me, about the Century ripping people like Ares in half and Carnage in half.
That's a classic. That is a classic, man. The scene when he actually became the Void and he ripped Ares in half. Shout out to what was his name? Oliver Copiel, the artist that did that. My goodness, man. I like the character. I like the Century, man. He's a complicated character.
I want to see him in the MCU.
Dude, you know what? For his character, man, it's got to be dark.
Yeah, they need to do it. They need to go there, do something different.
Yeah, I mean, he could be a DC character. He could be in one of them movies.
He would fit in. Well, I would say he'd fit in so well in the DCEU, but Superman is basically Century in the DCEU.
Century.
So
yeah, you mean Century like Superman was Century had the major mental problems.
Yeah, but I'm saying the way that Warner Brothers treats Superman now, I feel like I'm watching Century more than I'm watching Superman.
And speaking of Century, man, and I'm going back to Heroes Con. I also I got 2 sketches done, and I got a sketchbook. I started a sketchbook last year, and my sketchbook deals with Spider-Man things, but I'm thinking about starting one for Century. Because, man, the Century, man, he's an awesome character, I believe, man.
And see, Century, not many people, if anybody's going to have a sketchbook with him, a lot of people are going to have Spider-Man or Spider-Verse sketchbook. So that would be a unique thing to keep, cherish, and add to your collection.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do that, man. I'm going to get like another sketchbook and do a Century. But because I have two done already. One by Brian Silverbacks and another guy, Gwen, I think his name. He did one for me back at Walker Starford Con. But I really enjoyed that character, man. But I wish they had more of a rogue gallery for that guy because he's so overpowering, man.
Yeah, I don't know if he works as kind of a standalone character, but he
No.
works well when he's a misunderstood antagonist / protagonist, because he can be used as both with the Void and with the Sentry, both playing a big role in his story.
Yeah, he went toe for toe with the Hulk, though.
Yeah,
So,
he did. He did. World War Hulk, man. That was back in the good old days when Bendis was running the Avengers stuff.
that's so true. So true.
I
I
love
totally
the
agree.
era of Marvel Comics. But let's talk about Heroes Con, because when I got there, Amos, I got there. This is right before I met up with you. I was walking around, just wanted to walk the show floor by myself. It gets bigger every year. And that's good because so many people are getting into this stuff. They're seeing the movies, they're seeing the TV shows, and it's drawing them into the source material. Now, you got to keep in mind, this is Saturday, the busiest day of the convention I'm talking about. But
Right.
I'm walking around, and I feel like I'm in a sardine can. It is the most crowded probably that I'd ever seen Heroes Con on a Saturday. And when it gets that crowded, it just starts to become like every other convention. But I mean, you really can't complain because you got to be thrilled with the number of people who are coming out and enjoying the stuff that we love.
Well, to me, I mean, could they expand it? Over the years, I mean, I used to share the rooms with Dub Magazine Car Show.
That was great.
Man. They'll do it. So you get your cars when sound systems, and on the other room you got your comic book fans and stuff like that. I was cool when I first seen it. That's kind of cool, man. You know what I'm saying? But I think that expanding the con like that is a great idea. And to me, it didn't seem too crowded. Now you gotta understand, I'm coming from Atlanta. I go to a Dragon Con sometimes, and Dragon Con is like ridiculously insane.
Yeah, you're more of a veteran con goer than I am. But here's the thing: they expand the floor, and it's cool because they got like Image and Xenoscope and the Ecto One and the DeLorean over there. And
Yeah.
I like all that stuff. It's almost like they should have put some of the vendors over there as well, though, to spread things out a little more.
And I kind of agree with you a little bit on that. I enjoy them having Aftershock and Xenoscope and Image there because they need publishers there. You know what I'm saying? Sell their product and to get things going. But I think they should have been like there was certain vendors are. Like you said, they should be right in the middle where all the crowd was going through, with the motion, with people going through in and out. But at the same time, they expanded. I really appreciate that because they said it was like 50,000 people total for the weekend. Back in, I think.
And this is the 35th anniversary of Heroes Con, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it is. It was.
It was, yeah. I guess year 36 is coming up next year. I want to say that so my friends and I started going to this in 2004. And when we found it, it was still big, but it was a much smaller convention than what it is today. And you also got to keep in mind, it was my first convention experience. So when I saw it in 2004, then that second year in 2005, I was blown away. I was like a kid in a candy store. And I just remember going there with my friends from high school and just flipping through the single issues and the trades for hours on end. That's before I really knew about the Artist Alley and the writer creator section that Shelton provides. Shelton Drum, owner of Heroes Aren't Hard to Find, who puts on the convention. And we used to find killer deals on not only books, but toys as well.
Right.
Those deals, as this stuff has gotten more popular, they're jacking the price up on this stuff. I don't find as many deals. Do you find that at conventions you go to?
But you gotta understand, to get the deals, you gotta wait on Sunday when they pack it up.
Yeah, I know, and that's a fair statement, but used to be that way on Friday and Saturday as well. You would get killer deals. Not what you'd get on Sunday, because their vendors are trying to move stuff and they don't want to take it back with them.
Well, Friday I caught some deals. some a hardcover of Guardian of the Galaxy for $25. It was an omnibus. Remember that? I showed you
was
that.
a great deal, and that was the original Guardians of the Galaxy run.
Yeah, it was $25, man. Omnibus is like $100.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
60 something on Amazon, if not more.
So that was a steal. So yeah, they jacked the prices up, but I think if you get there on a Friday, where the crowd is just not that huge, like from Saturdays, I think you would come across some deals.
Yeah, I just want to give you an example. So I saw the NECA Alien Queen figure. Now, this is a big action figure that just came out this year. We know Alien Covenant, this is a hot property despite that film's poor reviews. However, this is something that can be had on eBay and on other toy sites for $60 to $75. I didn't see it anywhere for under $140.
Right? What?
Yeah. So I think, especially on the collectibles, there's a higher markup for whatever reasons. For example, we know the Sideshow statues are really pricey. We know the Hot Toys are really pricey. A Sideshow premium format, which is a mixed media quarter scale statue, usually costs you $350 to $600, depending on the character. They were selling them for $950 a pop.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's too much.
$950. So basically, you might as well say $1,000 at that point.
Well, I'm kind of glad I'm not getting those kind of statues anymore. I stopped that.
Yeah, you're a smart man. I stopped it too. I sold my Hot Toys and my Sideshow stuff just because I wanted to invest money into other stuff, such as podcasting.
Yeah, I'm going to get to that point. You
are, Amos. We're going to get you in the upper echelon of entertainment podcast, and we're going to do it together. All right. Speaking of that, before we get into our featured review, I want to basically promote my shirts that I launched today. You can get a shirt of the Confirmed Epic Podcast at tpublic.com/user/TheRealBradBell. That's tpublic.com/user/TheRealBradBell, TheREEL Brad Bell. All proceeds go toward paying for production of the shirt as well as the quality of the Confirmed Epic Podcast. Thank you for looking.
Look at you, Brad. Brad got the Epic Podcast shirt. Confirmed.
Yeah, and I better see Amos wearing one because I told him he has a shirt. I'm going to wear one of his.
Yep, it's coming. It's coming.
All right, Amos, before we get into the last night, is there anything else you want to say about Heroes Con?
No. Well, I wanted to say this is that if you have not been to a convention, I really recommend you go to Heroes Con. I can't put any more emphasis on this. If you really want to get into comic books, this is the place to go. It is the place to go. It's strictly the books, man. It's the love for the book of the medium. It's just it is what it is, man. It's all about comic books and the love of it. You're gonna meet great people. I'm telling you, I met a lot of people that was complete strangers.
We met at Heroes Con.
Yeah, we met at Heroes Con. Look at us now, a year later. So I'm doing a podcast with Brad Bell.
Not only do we do podcasts, I mean, we're friends. We text on the regular, at least almost once a day. So
yeah, and that's what I'm talking about. You get friendships from this, man. People with the same interests and same thing. You might have a debate on who's better, who's not, but at the same time, it's the love of this the genre. Well, not genre, but medium.
Yeah, I'll just say this about Heroes Con: it is a comics purist convention, and if you're looking for the purest form of the medium and that on full display in all its glory, go ahead and plan on being in Charlotte Father's Day weekend 2018 for Heroes Con.
It's always on Father's Day weekend.
Yes, it is. So let's go from somewhere you would want to go, Heroes Con, to somewhere you probably wouldn't want to go, the theater, to see Transformers The Last Night. That brings us to our featured review, which is Transformers 5 The Last Night, directed by Michael Bay.
I want to stay, and I want to fight them. And now, two worlds colliding.
The operation is over.
We're not giving up, okay? Only one survives.
Oh my God. Forgive me.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
All right, Amos. I just want to say a couple things before we get started because
Go ahead.
I think we're going to have different opinions. I think both of us are going to rip this film apart a little bit, however. And I want to say there's going to be no spoiler reel or warning in this podcast. This is the warning right now. Anything after this, spoilers are fair game because we want to be able to dive into this movie hard and heavy from the get-go. Is that fair, Amos? Is that cool with you?
That's fine by me, Brad. Because remember, I did a podcast like last year about this.
One of your most downloaded episodes, what was the anniversary of Transformers? Was it
The 30th anniversary
of the original animated film, right?
Right. The movie. The original animated film, the 30 years ago.
So check out that at soundcloud.com. Just search for the Just Being Amos podcast. Now, Amos, when we review a film, I like to start out with some stats. Here's some stats for Transformers 5 The Last Night. Directed by Michael Bay.
Before you start, can I say the Rotten Tomatoes percentage, please?
That's in these stats right here.
Oh,
but you can go ahead and tell them what it is.
Okay. This is like the lowest percentage they got for the franchise. It's 15% was the Rotten Tomato percentage. That's the critics percentage. 55% was the audience. That is just downright it's not right, man. That's all I gotta say.
It wasn't critically well received, as Amos said. 15% on RT on Rotten Tomatoes, the worst in the franchise's history. Speaking of worst in the franchise's history, it was the worst debut at the box office. Over 5 days. It opened on Wednesday, June 21st. So Wednesday through Sunday, the film grossed $69.6 million. And on the actual opening weekend, Friday to Sunday, the film only grossed about $45 million.
Well, I got something less.
All right.
I got $44 million.
Okay, $44 million. So Amos is looking at any little tidbit he can to dig into this movie.
And then it was $68.4 million total. That's what I got.
So I rounded up a little bit, as I like to do sometimes in my math. So that's the stats for Transformers 5 The Last Night. However, I do want to point out this film made like $123 million opening weekend in China, and it's doing great overseas. So this will not be a complete box office failure for Hasbro and Paramount.
Only domestic.
Yeah, domestically it's going to be a bit of a bomb. We'll see where this leaves us as far as the rest of the franchise. Now, Amos, before we get into The Last Night, I got a few opening questions here to kind of frame our discussion this evening.
Right, go ahead.
And I kind of know what you're going to say on this one. And the absolute reason I really wanted to review Transformers 5 with you is because I know how diehard of a fan you are of the original G1 Transformers show and the property as a whole. So tell our listeners about your fandom of the Transformers property as a whole.
I'm pretty older. I'm older than Brad, guys, to let y'all know this. I'm an 80s kid. And as a kid, I used to love watching Transformers on the cartoon. I also got the toy line. And I'm very passionate about this. And I also read some of the Marvel comic books too. Marvel also did Transformers and G.I. Joe. They had the licensing to it.
I know Larry Hama did G.I. Joe.
Yeah, Larry Hama did G.I. Joe. Yeah, he did. And when I heard they was doing the last night, now granted, the first Michael Bay, the live adaptation, live movie they did was pretty cool, right?
That was going to be one of my other questions is, did you at
Yeah.
least like the first film? And you did.
I like the first film. Oh man, I'm sorry.
It's all
I'm
right.
playing the old episode. So yeah, I enjoyed the first movie, man. And when I first heard Optimus Prime voice, I'm a kid again because that's Peter Cullen. He voiced Optimus Prime in the cartoon.
Planet Earth.
Yeah, yeah. So as a kid, as a fan of this toy line and the characters, I think they just screwed it up, man. I'm sorry, they screwed it up, man. I mean, I know the generation right now think not, but this is coming from a person over the years. I've seen different iterations of the Transformer, from Generation 1 to Beast Wars, the Beast Machines, even when the Armada, Energon, all those things.
All right.
Right?
So you have
And
a very in-depth perspective as far as knowledge of Transformers lore.
yeah, right. And also, and also for the toy line too. And also I picked up a couple of comic books too that it had when not IDW, Dreamwave was around. Dreamwave did some Transformer books and everything like that. I read some of that. I'm going back to IDW and started reading more of the Transformers. I heard Hell Megatron was one of the greatest stories of Megatron.
I read that. I got the big hardcover volume
You do?
1 that IDW did, and it's really well done.
Yeah, so you need to send that to me, please. Ship it off to me. You don't need it.
If you buy a T-shirt, maybe I will.
Oh, okay. But yeah, that's for me, man. I was like, damn. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of honestly, man, trying to make a movie out of a toy line and trying to make a story out of it is probably not easy to do. But for me,
it's easy to do. It's just not easy to do well.
Well, yeah, and the thing is, if you want to do that, go to the comic books, man. I got plenty of stories in the comics. Right?
No, we don't need to listen to any of the fans' love for the property, nor do we need to reference any quality source material. Let's just put the franchise in the hands of one of the greatest directors of our generation, Michael Bay.
Yeah, man, Michael Bay. The man started out doing music videos. Now he's top line.
Okay, I gotta admit, full disclosure, before we go into this review. First of all, I love the first Transformers film. I think take that out of the franchise as a standalone outlier. That is an epic film. That was the biggest and best and just a jaw-dropping. I'll never forget the feeling we all had. I'll never forget it. Andrew Stokes and I went with a big group of friends of about 10 or 12 to see some fireworks, 4th of July, 2007, and then to see Transformers at the Mall Cinema in Shelby, North Carolina at the old Carmike 10. And we walked
and you know what?
And it was like something that we had never seen before at that point, Amos.
And I totally agree. Like I said, I really enjoyed it, man. Like I said, I was a kid growing up watching this. And like I said, when I first heard Optimus Prime voice, and this is no lie, man, I had goosebumps. I had my hair was standing on my arms. And I had my friend with me, RJ, and he really don't go to movies, right? And he decided to go to the movie with me to go see Transformers. And he left. He said, yeah, that was pretty good, man. And he doesn't like going to the movies.
Yeah, so it was a game changer for not only Paramount, but Michael Bay, for the whole film industry there with the very first Transformers film. I also am a big Michael Bay fan. I love The Rock. I love Bad Boys 1 and 2. I love Armageddon. I like The Island. I like some of his other films, but Armageddon's one of my favorite films of all time, along with the first Transformers.
You and Brian Silverbacks love some Armageddon, I guess.
Yeah, I think
he loves it too.
I think most people like Deep Impact a lot better. You're either an Armageddon or a Deep Impact person. And I guess Brian and I are both Armageddon people. So, yeah, I love that movie. Got a Criterion Collection release, by the way, which is reserved for the most prestigious films of the century.
No.
Decade.
Stop playing. No.
It did.
No, it did not.
I swear on my life that Armageddon got a Criterion. It's the only Michael Bay film to get a Criterion Collection.
And that is the only. I mean, hold on. Aerosmith won a Grammy for that song.
Yeah, they did. Hey, I don't want to miss a thing. Let me ask you this: did you ever see The Rock with Sean Connery and Nick Cage?
I like The Rock. I like that Rock, man. It was fun to watch.
And you got to say this about Michael Bay. I read a lot about film and whatnot. He gets the most out of the people he has. I read a story about him on the set of The Rock yelling at Sean Connery and Ed Harris as a 30-year-old director, yelling at these two legends, wanting to get the very best out of them. Now, does he always get the best out of people? That's debatable. Here, he's directed a lot of robots, so it's kind of hard to tell. But Michael Bay has some great to epic films earlier in his catalog. So full disclosure, I also want to state that I kind of find these other Transformers films beyond the first one as a guilty pleasure, meaning they're so bad, they're funny. And going into this film, that's kind of what I expected. At the very least, it will be so bad it's funny.
Well, you know me, I said I was not going to see it, but for podcasting purposes and references and stuff, I had to go see it, because
I appreciate that.
Yeah, right. And what I said last year, I was not going to see it, but I changed my mind because I think I really want to dissect this movie. You know what I'm saying? I really got something to say.
And Amos, I really appreciate you doing this podcast with me because Andrew Stokes, my podcast co-host, was not going to do a Transformers podcast with me, Transformers 5. So you stepped up to the plate, and I'm so grateful for that. However, we had been advertising, pushing on our podcast that if somebody donated $7, Andrew would go see it and review it. Not only did we get $7, we got a $10 donation to our PayPal. And it said, here's some extra money for Andrew to buy candy so he can stay awake. So,
wow.
This is my first of 2 reviews on this film. Not to mention that I also did a Rapid Reflections YouTube video that you can find on the Confirmed Epic Podcast YouTube channel talking about this film. So, and I did a written review, which you can find at thepicreview.com. So
I read some of that.
Enough of me promoting my own stuff. I sound like Michael Bay right here. Let's get into this review, Amos. Here we go, buddy. I've been waiting for this.
Let's do this.
And roll out.
Roll.
Now.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and let you start since you're the resident Transformers fan. Just initial impressions, feelings about this film. Spoilers are warranted.
Spoilers are warranted?
Yeah.
Okay. Let it begin. Okay, let's see here. Going into this movie, and like you know this, and my audience who listen to my podcast, no, I was not. I was so reluctant to go. But I said to myself, what if you just do a podcast about a shitty ass movie? Get a bunch of laughs.
Yeah.
Let's tear that son of a bitch up. You know what I'm saying? But then I also, my friend Brian Silverbacks was accompanying me to see Transformers. And
that is a true friend right there.
Yes, it is. And then, I hooked him up. We both have our popcorn. He ended up buying a Transformer cup.
A souvenir cup?
Yeah, he did. I was not going to buy a damn souvenir cup. I said, no. You already got my money from the movie. I'm not getting you a cup. So anyway. Is
it an AMC or what is it Regal? Do you know the chain?
No, we went to the NCG. And the movie, we only paid like $7 for the movie. That's one of those movies you get free refills and all that stuff. You pay for the popcorn, and you only pay like $6 or $7 to get in, which is cheap.
That's great.
That's why I like going to that movie. Yeah, I like going to that. So back to Transformers. So First of all, after watching Age of Extinction, I said to myself I was not going to see another one. But curiosity hit me, right? I said, what if I just go in there and just sit there and just be numb and not pay attention to the scattered plots they had going on, the ridiculous explosions or the corny ass lines they had in the movie. Okay? Too many plots, too many things going on at the same time. If you want to focus on Quintessa, I'm sorry, we're doing spoilers, right? Okay, you focused on the medallion they had, or the staff they had,
The
or talisman, or Unicron, or what you want to do? Come on, tell me, what do you want to do, guys? Come on, Michael Bay. But you know what? I don't fault Michael Bay too much anymore, because Brian and I were talking about this, and he said it's mostly the writers. Okay. I think you had about 5 fucking writers on there.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
That's fine. It's explicit. I just want to say this, Amos, because I have an inside scoop.
Right.
I started reading Empire Film Magazine, and they do a podcast, the Empire Podcast. They're a British outlet. Great stuff. But they had a inside look at the Transformers writers' room. I want to tell you how this writers' room set up. This is no joke. There's a massive facility at Paramount Pictures on the lot in California. You go into this, I guess, like almost mini air hangar. There's all kinds of Transformers, like props. There's a life-size Bumblebee in there, not the car, the Transformer.
Right.
There's all kinds of toys from all series of Transformers, from Beast Wars to G1, you name it. There is literally a wall. Like, you ever been to one of these theme parks and you go in and they have like these extravagant candy shops that you would never see anywhere else, or in the mall they have those candy shops.
Right.
Michael Bay apparently loves candy. So there is a wall of candy. Okay. And they have a giant L-shaped table. And when Michael Bay can't be there, they got about 15 writers in there, okay? And they met for the first time right after Age of Extinction came out. So about 2 years ago. And they wanted to plan out 15 Transformers films, starting with the last night. Yeah.
No,
I swear that would involve the Transformers playing a role in every single major event in human history, whether it's the space race, killing Hitler, whether it's, the Knights of the Round Table like it is here, the moon landing, whatever. Okay. And they just throw from the way I understood it, they kind of just throw a bunch of stuff out there. And Michael Bay's like, I like this, I like that. And as they describe characters, right? So this character that Anthony Hopkins played, when the main writer in this movie, there was like 5, but his name's like Akiva Goldsman or something like that. And he said, I see this character as a Anthony Hopkins type. So you know what? Michael Bay picks up the phone, gets Hopkins on the phone, and he says yes. Not many people say no to Michael Bay. So you got to give the man that. So, I mean, this is like unlike any other writer's room in the entire scope of Hollywood, this Transformers writer's room. So I just wanted to honest to God, you can read about that in the summer issue of Empire Magazine, the one that's got Spider-Man on the front. But continue.
Man, yeah, you threw me off on that. Now you just threw me away. It blown me away with that, man. Wow. Yeah. Really?
Okay, so since I kind of got you off track, I want to tell you something that I liked about this film from the get-go.
You liked? Really? Seriously?
I said something that I liked, okay? And I'm stealing this from Kendall Hallman, who's my co-host on Technodrome Tales, which is a TMNT rewatch pod we do, which is returning this Thursday. And he made a good point. I do like at the beginning of this film how they're focusing on the robots not being wanted, the robots basically being immigrants and being hated. Now, they go a step further. They make me feel like this is a world that experienced 4 Transformers films, and they're sick and tired of these robots. So at least the framing of this film was set up nicely.
That is true, because they went back to Chicago, and Chicago's still in the it's just devastated.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's the aftermath of 4 movies.
I mean, that was good.
Yeah, that's good.
I
That's
think
good.
this is.
I get it.
We can talk about where this film ranks in all the Transformers films at the end. I think this is not the worst Transformers film, though. You said that you think it is. I disagree with that.
Let me see.
Just hold
After
that
watching
thought.
it now,
Yeah.
and what you just said, it's not the worst.
Okay. Don't tell us.
It's next to the worst.
Don't tell
Okay.
us until the end. Okay. Now, I want to also mention that I knew we were in for a real like Michael Bay shit show right from the beginning when the Paramount logo comes up, and before the logo can fade from the screen, you see explosions coming from the logo.
Yeah.
I'm like, here we go, baby. This is going to be exactly what I expect. What did you think? Obviously, the name of the film's The Last Night. We knew it would revolve somehow around King Arthur, Merlin, all that stuff. I'm not a big fantasy geek. I got to admit that. Besides Game of Thrones, not really into the fantasy, never have been. Even Lord of the Rings, I respect it. It's great. It's epic, but I don't love it. How did you think about them using the Knights of the Round Table, Arthur and Merlin, to set up this film?
Another side note, Merlin was played by Stanley Tucci, which he was in the damn 4th movie.
He was killed in the 4th movie.
Yeah. No, he was alive in the 4th movie.
He got killed at the end.
And Stanley Tucci?
Hold on. I wanted to just say 2 things real quick, okay? Number 1, in the 4th film, there's a scene where Stanley Tucci sticks his Tucci, not Coochie. Where Stanley Tucci sticks his head out the window and yells, "Whoa!" Okay, that's a scene, first of all, from the 4th one, but I digress. Okay, there's a character in this film. Do you remember the main military general guy? Not Josh Duhamel, okay? So not Fergie's husband. I'm talking about the older, bald-headed guy.
Yeah.
So he's in the 1st film. You remember him from the 1st film?
I remember the 1st film.
He's killed on screen in the 1st film. Yet he's back in this film.
Transformers has a lot of editing problems, man.
But they literally killed the character in the 1st movie. And
they recycle characters.
He's back. Like, I mean, do you not? It would be like in the next Star Wars movie, spoilers for Force Awakens, opening scene, Han Solo's just there. Nothing happened.
Yeah, right. But yeah, Stanley Tucci was Merlin.
Yeah, he was a drunken Merlin.
Drunken Merlin. Like, wow, this dude was like in the last movie. I mean, damn. But back to your question about what did I think about them using the Knights of the Round Table. I mean, it was, I guess, okay. I mean, I wasn't really sold on it, man. They arrived.
It looked good.
It looked good visually, but the Transformer landed many, many years before they've been on Earth for like eons, I guess. You know what I'm saying? They were like there for Merlin and Arthur, whatever
but
was.
Before that, they led to the extinction of the dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs. Well. Yeah, right. I'm like, this is my problem. This is my problem about the franchise, man. They try to put Transformer in every historical event that happened to man.
See, I gotta admit, now it's not. I shouldn't like that. Maybe it's the history teacher, the history geek in me mixed with the Transformers comic geek, whatever. I love that.
But you know what though? Their Transformers have been around for so long, in the Generation 1, the cartoon and everything like that. They've been around a long time. So I get it. I mean, they want to put them in history and stuff like that. But damn, sometimes like, man, really? That stopwatch killed Adolf Hitler?
I was about to say, was the Bumblebee Hitler stuff, was that too much?
Yes, it was.
Like, that set piece was incredible with Bumblebee just shows up and starts kicking Nazi ass.
Okay, I got a question for you, Brad. What did you think about the second act of the movie?
The second act of the movie, would that be now this movie, because it's Michael Bay, it has 4 acts.
Yeah, it does. I think the second act is with Anthony Hopkins explaining everything. And
okay, so is it where they go to England?
Yeah, when everything was slow.
Okay, what I think about the second act, I love the stuff with the drones, but I guess you could consider that in the first act. There's a scene with the government tracking the Decepticons, and Mark Wahlberg has to fight off these drones. By the way, say what you want to about Mark Wahlberg. First of all, Cade Yeager's the most badass name ever.
Yo, but check this out, though, man. I was telling Brian, man, I looked at Mark Wahlberg, that dude been in the sun too long. You see how he got burned, man.
Hey, but he does not phone it in. He gives, like, everything he has talking to these robots.
He really does, man. I mean, he's badass. I mean, that's a badass name.
Yeah, let's talk about the second act. They go to England. And they meet up with Anthony Hopkins, who's the keeper of the Witwicky Order. Which
see how they had to bring that back? They had to bring that back, right?
Which they say, yeah, so, but he's not a Witwicky, okay? He's the keeper of the Witwicky Order.
Now you see the diluted shit I'm talking about, man?
The more that I talk about it, that just ludicrous it sounds. Okay, so he's a member of the Witwicky Order. And no.
You see where I'm going with this, man?
No. Okay, Hopkins is a keeper, not the member of the Witwicky Order. So there's this, I mean, just go ahead and say it. This, I hate for the red-blooded male to come out in me, but just this smoking fine Cambridge professor that Michael Bay is going to freaking objectify.
Yeah, he did. I mean, you know who that is, though? That's Peter Quill's mom.
What?
Yes, she played.
Oh,
Peter.
Okay.
Yeah, I looked it up.
Like this.
Yeah, right. She didn't have a tumor, so I mean, yeah.
God, this is going off the rails. Let me reel us back in here. Okay, so apparently she's the last living member of the Witwicky Order, so she can control Merlin's staff, which is the MacGuffin of the movie, right? That's what they're all trying to get, because the Decepticons want the staff to give it to Quintessa so that they can basically bring Cybertron to Earth, and Cybertron can suck the life force from Earth, right?
But then again, that's what you said. That's supposed to be the thing. But then again, here we go with the talisman. They bring that in.
So there's 2 MacGuffins in
2.
All right.
Right.
Also, when they go over, Anthony Hopkins gives this long, like, exposition explaining the Knights of the Round Table and the Witwicky Order, and they show a picture of Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah.
He was killed off screen.
Yeah.
Because if you think about this, Amos, if she's the last living member of the Witwicky Order, wouldn't that imply that he's dead?
Yeah, right.
That was like a giant FU from Michael Bay to Shia LaBeouf to put his picture in there, and it was the eBay picture, like ladies, man, whatever.
Yeah, yeah, but that's funny, dude. But yeah, it's just like I had another problem was that he had that butler robot.
All right. Cogsman, who is played by Jim Carter, who's from Downtown Abbey. He's a butler on that show. I don't watch that show. I did a little research for this podcast. So again, going back to that writer's room, that when Empire got to go in the writer's room when they were making the script, or supposed script, if you want to call it that, for Transformers 5 the last night. They said, I like Downton Abbey. How about it would be cool if we could get that butler on here? Michael Bay picked up the phone and he's like, we got the guy to voice Cogsman, who is, I mean, he would have been okay for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But the fact that we got him unhinged for a freaking hour. So this movie is 2.5 hours.
It really seemed like 3. I'm sorry, man. It was like so long.
It was 2.5 hours. And he's from about 30 minutes in, he is in the movie a solid hour and 15 minutes. And he's saying, you punk ass and you bitch ass and just
he was just rude, man. He was just Mark Wahlberg said he's psychotic. Like,
and here's what I love about Michael Bay. He knew it was going to be a C-3PO ripoff, so he just calls it out in the film.
He did. I'm like, wow.
So I give him props for that. He called himself out on his own bullshit.
Yeah, he did. And I think Anthony Hopkins called Cogman a headmaster or something, man. If you didn't know, Headmaster was one of the toy lines they had back in the 80s. You had the Headmaster, Target Masters, and all those things that were Transformers. That's pretty cool. I mean, I guess Michael Bay know his stuff, but man, it was just. Oh, I got another thing to say too. Hold on. I got another thing to say.
Yeah, we got to talk a little more about Cogsman though before we move on.
Yeah, we could talk about Cogsman, man, but he was everywhere, man. I mean, dude.
I will say it was badass when he was driving that car. That was a cool chase scene. And Bumblebee was in that chase scene, and Hot Rod was in that chase scene.
I started right there. What you think about Hot Rod?
I love the Transformers movie, the original one, the cartoon that you guys reviewed.
Yes.
And he's a big part of that film. So Hot Rod's been one of my favorite Transformers pre-Michael Bay. Right. And it's not that this character was done poorly. I didn't mind the whole French Transformer, that's whatever. But the fact that you take Hot Rod, who's almost like Bumblebee level in the Transformers mythos, and you just throw him in there as a bad European cliche.
It's a lot of cliches in this movie,
Pissed
man.
me off, man. I just thought that was bullshit.
Yeah, there's a lot of cliches in this movie, like always. That's what it is.
Well, what do you think about Hot Rod as somebody who's a bigger G1 fan than I am?
I like Hot Rod when he was Hot Rod, not Rodimus Prime, in the cartoon. In the cartoon, as Rodimus Prime, he had issues, man. He wasn't sure of himself as a leader. But as Hot Rod, I really enjoy him as Hot Rod.
In the movie, was he Rodimus Prime or Hot Rod?
First, he was Hot Rod, then he became Rodimus Prime. You know, the matrix of leadership was passed on, whatever. But in Michael Bay movie, but he had a cool weapon though to stop time. That was pretty cool. I say that.
I mean, but that was only given to him as a plot device so that they could get their way out of like shitty situations.
And that was just like, dude. Even with Bumblebee knew ability of him disassembling himself.
That was that was badass.
That was different. I'm like, okay, all right.
Okay, now that chase scene we're talking about, where Cogsman is driving Anthony Hopkins around, when he kind of disassembles the Camaro Bumblebee, and he takes the shots with his arms, and he has a quote like, "That's how." I don't know what he says, but there's something like, that's how a pro does it, or that's how it's done. Like the whole Bumblebee has been through and through the best part of all 5 of these movies. Like, he's been a good character throughout every Transformers.
You know what? They pushed that character like that because in the G1, he was not like that. He was always been saved. He was like the little brother to the Autobots, you know what I'm saying? And what Paramount has done, they made Bumblebee like a central part of the movie.
They basically made him. That is Hot Rod more like Bumblebee in the TV show?
No.
No, I'm saying like in the original, like the way that Bumblebee is now like a central character. Isn't that the way Hot Rod is in the original TV show?
The G1 TV show, yeah. He's a central character.
That's what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah, because they pushed him to be a central character, and they done an excellent job. I ain't gonna say they did a great job of doing it.
Okay, I want to say something about Cogsman though, and this is a honest to God quote. So Steven Spielberg's an executive producer on these movies.
Yeah.
See, I thought that was just he's putting his name on this. He helped him do the first film, and he's just cashing checks, right? Okay, that's not the case. Here's a quote from Steven Spielberg about Cogsman. He said that he will be the best character under 4 foot since Yoda.
Oh no!
I swear on my life, that is a Steven Spielberg quote. I kid you not. And I'm like, holy shit! It's one thing to compare him to C-3PO, but to compare him to Yoda?
No, you can't do that, man. That's like blasphemy.
There's 1 moment where he slaps somebody and says, "Bitch, please."
Oh, yeah, he did.
All right, Cogsman was bad. We could rip him apart, through this whole podcast, but let's move on now. We'll talk about the film's inevitable Michael Bay 4th act, but besides that 4th act, did you think that the film felt exhaustive leading up to that? Like, because I thought that the action was pretty spread out.
The action was spread out. Yeah, I agree it was, but I was like I said, man, close to the end of the movie, I was like, let's get it over with. Really?
Well, yeah.
The thing is, in the beginning, you see Optimus Prime floating in the air, right? I mean, floating in space. He said, "To my creators," all that stuff, right? That's like 2 or 3 minutes in the movie, right? Then you see him again. That's another 10 minutes. Man, you don't see Optimus Prime too close to like the 4th act, man. Like,
if you think about it, though.
Man.
All right, I got 2. I just want to play devil's advocate for a minute. 1, Optimus Prime. We both agree that the first Transformers movie is the best, right?
Yeah.
He's not in that movie a lot either. Now, he's in it more than this, but remember, he doesn't come into that movie till about 1 hour and 15 minutes in.
In the first part, yeah, that's true.
All right. Number 2, his main role here isn't Optimus Prime. It's Nemesis.
Nemesis
right?
Prime, yeah.
So that's my argument for that. The main role for Optimus here is to be a villain. So I was okay. Now, was that a little... He is basically used as a plot device as an antagonist, but I didn't have as big of a problem with this as other people did.
Well, you know what, Brian, once again, point something out while he was watching it. They said it did the Fast and the Furious 8 thing.
See, I hadn't seen Fast 8.
Oh, man, I'm going to spoil it for you, dude.
No, don't spoil it, dude. Come on now.
Oh, man, I can't say it, dude. Well, anyway, he made a reference to that movie. It's the same thing, man. Toretto turned bad, Prime turned bad, whatever. And I said, yeah, he kind of right. So I mean, but I think I was just exhausted, man, because I was sitting in that seat. I was leaning back. I was leaning forward, leaning back. I had my hand on my face. I'm like, oh. I was just sitting there like, this just needs to be over with quick.
Was your theater packed?
Not really.
Yeah, mine was not that full, but I went on like a Monday afternoon. So
yeah, so I was on Sunday at 3:00. So I mean, it was all right. People out of church and everything. But back to the 4th act, man. And you know what? And another thing, forget the 4th act, man. Another thing is that girl.
Can we hold
on? Little girl.
Can we hold off on the 4th act till the end?
Yeah.
Okay.
The little girl that's in the beginning that helped those boys out. Her.
Isabella.
She was Isabella, and I kind of agree with once again Brian said she was a useless character.
Well, she's set up as a major character for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
She's taken off screen for 1.5 hours.
That's what I'm saying. She was a useless character. I mean, you brought her in. She was kind of badass. You have these boys out. Then you don't use her no more. I'm like, damn. It's like, okay. Yo, man, it was just so much going. So much going on, man.
I want to tell you about a part of the film that was so bad it was funny. I enjoyed it. There's a scene in which the U.S. government, it's Michael Bay, so we're going to push the U.S. government hard. Dealing with Josh Duhamel, had to cut a deal with the devil, with Megatron, right?
Yeah.
There's a scene where they meet Megatron in the middle of the desert with a group of lawyers, and they basically do the Con Air thing where it's like, I want these guys, these Decepticons, and it cuts to them in robot jail.
Dude, I was looking at that, man. I'm like, what in the fuck, man? I said, okay, all right. So I'm about to say the names. Mohawk.
Okay.
And Megatron said, I want my gang. He didn't say his Decepticons. He said gang.
This was weird. This was very off-putting.
It was. It really was, man. I'm like, what the hell y'all doing?
Did you think this was racist?
I think it was unnecessary.
Because a lot of people have said it was racist.
It was stereotyping people, man. It was like stereotyping people.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Then he got like a chain on around his neck. He like a psychopath, like dude, like Nitro Zeus. Come on, man. Mohawk.
Are any of these real Decepticons?
No.
Okay.
No, it was not in the Generation 1. If they were, I have not read it or anything. It was just made for the movie, man.
It was stupid because I was sitting here, and here's what I was thinking. I knew it wasn't going to be Starscream because they showed his head already.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, we're maybe going to see, Soundwave or like one of those recognizable Decepticons.
Right.
But no, it was a bunch of bullshit.
It really was.
The scene was kind of funny and cool as far as the lawyers meeting him in the desert. But like as far as cutting to the Decepticons and all that, that was, there were parts of it that were so bad it was laughable. But it really, I thought it was kind of in poor taste for the most part.
Well, like I said, that was not necessary for that. You know what I'm saying? He cut the deal with the devil, but the thing was, his Decepticons were not. I didn't know anything about them, and the way it was done, it was like you say, poor taste.
Well, they show up and they get killed like immediately.
They get killed, yeah.
There's more time letting them out of jail than there is them fighting on screen.
Yeah, they did like a Suicide Squad thing, man.
Yeah, it was
it's just like the names and stuff. Like, okay. Oh gosh,
yeah, that was pretty bad.
Yes, it was. I totally agree on that. We agree on this one. But
yeah,
man, that is another problem I had also with this movie, man, is that it was just the dialogues, man, of them, the back and forth, the talking, and the cheesiness and the corniness of it, man. I know what it is. I expect it, but enough is enough sometimes,
what
man.
about that sex scene or the one they alluded to? So there's
that right there. I'm like, okay, put it in, put it out. I'm like, okay, put it down. I'm like, God.
There's a scene where Mark Wahlberg goes back to Smart Lady's house, Dr. Wembley. And what a name. She's
right.
I guess we'll name her Wembley. But anyway, they're looking for some stuff because apparently her dad was also a historian who had a fascination with the Knights of the Round Table, and there was supposed to be a reveal to her being a relative to Merlin. And they're just throwing crap around looking for stuff, and they make it sound like it's basically double entendres for sexual references. Like you said, put it in, that's heavy.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a hoarder. Like,
yeah.
That was really bad. That was almost as bad as the Decepticons / Con Air ripoff scene. But all right. Let's keep this this big rig on the road here. I want to ask you this.
Big rig. I like that. I like that big rig.
Who's a G1 fan? What did you think about how the Dinobots were reduced to just junkyard fodder? Basically, like,
oh my goodness,
they were like dogs.
Dude, they were like pets, man. I'm like, really? Really, pets, man? You had one of the strongest Autobots in the damn Autobot ranks, man. Grimlock, Slash, Sludge. Come on, dude. Seriously, man.
Explain something to me. Okay. So I know the Dinobots because they're in the movie, the cartoon movie. However, so Grimlock's the big T-Rex, right? He's the one that Optimus rides. Why are the other three babies?
That's a good question. Why are they?
Were they babies in Age of Extinction, or were they in it?
No, they were not.
So
they were not.
So they're babies now.
Well, the other one, what was the Triceratops? He was not. He showed up in the movie too when they broke into the on the ground, whatever. But yo, man, the Dinobots are strong robots, man. They are strong Autobots, man. Because Grimlock always butted head with Optimus Prime in the comic. I mean, not in the cartoon, always because he wants leadership.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they made. Oh, that was awful. Seriously, man. One of the strongest Autobots, man.
See,
they don't use them.
This is where if I was a big fan of it like you are, it would bother me more. But considering that I knew how this film was going to be, I mean, it's just like, okay, whatever. I mean, it was kind of charming to see like Mark Wahlberg interact with Grimlock as this giant dinosaur pet. But if I had like some type of emotional attachment to those characters, like let's say it was the Dragon Zord in Power Rangers, like if the Dragon Zord had been reduced to a pet, I would have been freaking pissed off.
I bet you would. Yeah, I bet you would be pissed off. I'll be laughing though. I'll be laughing, vice versa. I'll be laughing at you right now.
I just want to say, Mark Wahlberg as Cade Yeager is a lot better in this film than he was in Age of Extinction. Like he's good. He makes this film bearable. Like if it was not for him, like giving 110%, this would feel like longer than 3 hours, even though it's 2.5 hours.
But you know what, man? You're right. But he's not going to do another Transformer movie. So this is the last one.
Who would you like to see them get? Like if you got to cast the next central character, human character, who would you cast?
Me?
I would cast The Rock. The Rock, man. The Rock's the only man
don't
that can save Transformers. Can you imagine The Rock riding Grimlock?
Yes, I can. Oh my goodness.
God,
you know what? He's got a movie called Rampage based off the video game coming out next year, right?
And he's got Jumanji, and he's got a whole bunch of crap. But
yeah, I don't think he need to be in Transformer. He's good.
Okay.
I don't know. The Rock is a good one. Yeah, I agree. The Rock.
What do you think about Josh Duhamel coming back for this film? Now, Tyrese Gibson wanted to come back. He really did, but he couldn't because of the Fast 8 filming.
The schedule was all kind of messed up. I was thinking pretty cool, man. He was in the beginning. And, I think that was pretty cool. He was all of them. Right?
Yeah. He wasn't in Age of Extinction, was he?
Oh, no. He wasn't in Age of Extinction, but he was in 4 to 5.
Yeah, he was in the original, like, Shia LaBeouf trilogy.
Yeah, he was in movies. Yeah, he was in the original. I think it was pretty cool to bring him back, man. He got a paycheck.
All right, I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you the one reason that I enjoy this film. And I wrote.
Okay, Brad.
I wrote it in my review. So, despite how bad this movie is, you didn't just take your headphones off, did you?
No, I didn't take my headphones. I'm playing with a knife right now. I got a knife.
You're gonna kill yourself. I
want to kill myself. That's how bad Transformers is, man.
All right, so as bad as this movie was, there's one scene, and it was teased in the Super Bowl 51 ad that I thought was worth the price of admission. It was worth the $6 or $7 that I paid to get into the matinee, and that was the Nemesis Prime, Optimus Prime versus Bumblebee fight. So Optimus returns as Nemesis. He wants the staff. Unicron, as it's revealed, is rising out of the water. Very cool scene with parts of Unicron rising out of the water, and you have Optimus going head-to-head with Bumblebee in a epic fight with a lot of emotion in it. You have Mark Wahlberg there kind of in the middle of it. And usually I would say this is bullshit. Get the human out of the Transformers' way. Let the Transformers do their thing. But I thought this is one case where having a human in there made it more effective because he almost served as an audience surrogate. He was saying the things mainly, though, to Optimus that you wanted to tell Optimus as a fan of that character throughout the course of these films. And this fight ensues, and he's about to kill Bumblebee. And to hear Bumblebee talk in that moment.
Okay, start right there. Start right there.
Okay.
That was the problem.
Why?
All that time, man. I mean, all he said, "You were my friend, Optimus," and all he snaps out of it. Seriously, man. That's one of the easiest cop outs. Come on, seriously.
Dude, I love this part, and I know some people had a problem because his voice box wasn't working.
Yeah, but I mean, all through the movie, he trying to get his voice. Well, it was kind of funny when they gave him a voice box. He sounded like was it like a woman, right?
It sounded like
That-
Siri.
Siri, he was serious. That was funny. But I get what you're saying on that part, man. You know,
Dude, you're gonna make so much fun of me, and I'm gonna catch hell about this for like
Yes,
years to
yes, you
come.
are.
And I said it in my review. I think I said it on my YouTube rapid reflection, and I'll say it when I do this again with Andrew Stokes in a couple weeks. Dude, I looked down, not because I want to take my eyes off the screen, because like I became emotional. A tear started rolling down my cheek. And he's like, "I'm your oldest friend," and
Oh gosh.
dude, they got me there.
Oh no.
I mean, they did. I love.
You
I think that this fight and the ending to that fight was one of the best things in all 5 of these movies. Did you not think that was a good fight scene, at least?
It was a good fight scene, but that didn't bring a tear to me. That right there. You know, I teared up in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 when they started playing. They had Yondu's funeral.
Oh,
I
didn't tear up there, but man, weird stuff makes me tear up. But that made me like well up, like almost want to cry. That Yondu.
Oh my
stuff.
goodness, Brad, you gonna get teased from now on when we have a podcast.
That's fine. Remember this guy? He cried in Transformers the last night.
Yeah, I cried at Transformers too. But you know how old I was? I was a kid. And when they killed Optimus Prime in the movie, 30 years ago.
You talking about Transformers?
The animation.
Revenge of the Fallen when they killed him, right?
No.
You said Transformers too, right?
No. When I was a kid, I cried.
Okay.
That was the worst thing they did in my childhood. Killed off Optimus Prime, man. I cried.
Yeah. Well, if the film would have ended there, and
but
not
it did.
went into the 4th act, I think this would have been a much better film. But boy, the 4th act is like the worst tendencies of Michael Bay on full frontal display here. I mean, there are cool parts in this fight. Like, I want to ask you this. So we find out that Earth is Unicron,
right?
Which is kind of a cool twist.
Yeah, that's a cool twist, whatever. But Unicron is another planet, man. He is a freaking living planet. He's a robot that devours other planets.
So the fact that it's Earth,
put him on Earth,
but he's been dormant and now he's coming to life is, I don't know. I think that's kind of interesting. But so you have Cybertron crashing toward Unicron. And you have Optimus coming back to the side of the humans like he always inevitably does. And here's what I don't understand. Okay. Who controls the dragon? Okay. So I read about this on Wikipedia. The Knights of Iacon are the Transformers Knights, right?
Yep.
They combine to create this 3-headed Transformers dragon that we see at the beginning of the movie and the end of the film. And that dragon's badass. Now, at the beginning of the movie, when the staff is given from one of the knights to Merlin, Merlin controls the dragon, right?
Yep.
So it's inferred that whoever controls the staff controls the dragon. However, after Megatron and the Decepticons get the staff and take it to Quintessa, the dragon shows up on the side of the Autobots.
Yeah, see, there you go. That's what I'm saying.
How and why? Because they don't have the staff, the Decepticons do. So why would he be on the side of the Autobots?
You know what? I got a few things to say. Bad writing.
How do you miss that?
I don't think it's bad writing, man. It's just like, oh man, I can't explain it, man. It's just like, it was just a lot of rules have changed in the Transformers movies, man.
What?
Like we said, people die and come back. Use old people again, and
All right, why did they need the staff?
And that's what I'm saying.
Like, why? I still don't understand that.
I don't understand it either. You had the staff and the talisman. Okay, what the hell? And another thing about the talisman, man, it found Marky Mark. I'm saying Marky Mark.
Okay, so let's just go ahead and say, though, that Marky Mark is the last night.
He's the last night. Like, what?
I thought that was cool.
Yeah, but then again, and another thing, the talisman's all on his body and everything. All of a sudden, he's talking to Wimbledon, the professor.
It goes in
she's
his
looking
pants.
At him. Goes into the pants, like, really, man? I'm like, dude, seriously? I'm like, oh, goodness, man. He can't be any more juvenile, man. Like, really? Oh, okay. Said, all right, cool. The thing was all on his body, ended up going down his pants, and the woman just looking at him like, okay, can't be any more juvenile doing this scene, man. Then when they're about to cut off another scene, when the Knight's about to just behead Optimus Prime, you see Mark Wahlberg, the talisman all of a sudden turns into a freaking sword.
Dude, that was badass.
I
like that scene. I don't care what you said.
Yo, you got this 20 feet whatever robot, and you got this human with a long sword. And like all of a sudden, he gonna stop him?
Dude, it's King Arthur's sword.
That's Excalibur. Is this supposed to be Excalibur?
I guess, yeah.
Okay, I guess so.
Dude,
that was another problem.
And he's like, I aligned myself with one of the greats, Optimus Prime.
Yeah, I'm like, okay. I said, okay, guys, enough is enough, man. I was just like, I mean, Mark Wahlberg did the best. He did his best job on this movie, man. It's not his fault. Like you say, he did it. His character was good and stuff like that, man. But it's just, man. Oh, speaking of robots and actors, they finally got the original voice of Megatron, the voice actor, Frank Recker.
That's cool.
They finally got him. Remember in the beginning, they had used Hugo Weaving in the first one, I think in the second one. And they finally got the original voice actor to play Megatron, which was kind of cool. That's on the plus I see on that. But damn, man, I didn't recognize none of the other robots, man.
Yeah,
no Soundwave, no shot. I mean,
Starscream was dead.
Soundwave was still around, I believe. I think he didn't die.
He's a satellite in this.
He's a satellite, yeah. So I mean, no, he was a BMW. No, yeah, he was a BMW.
I want to say this. I was gonna ask you this to close out with, but I want to ask it to you right now. Let's just pretend real quick that Michael Bay is like, for real this time, he's going to do the 6th movie and he's going to end his story. Okay, I'm going to tell you what I would like to see. I want to see Shia LaBeouf come back and really give like a wholehearted effort and team up with Mark Wahlberg and just like Bay unhinged. And I know you said they killed Shia LaBeouf, right?
Yeah, they killed him.
They also killed that military guy.
That's right.
And they also killed Stanley Tucci.
He's a Merlin in this.
I mean, so they could just bring him back. It don't matter that they killed him. That means nothing. Or he could have said he went into hiding. I want to see Shia LaBeouf come back and I want to see Shia LaBeouf come back and finish this franchise.
I don't think so. I mean,
and then I want to see him rebooted in the Beast Wars.
No, I don't. No Beast Wars.
No Beast Wars?
No.
Why you don't like Beast Wars?
Beast Wars is good, but then again, they're trying to do a Bumblebee spinoff, man. I think they need to just reboot the whole franchise, man. Just be done, just reboot it.
Dude, Michael Bay is not going to be. This is like his Avatar, man. This is his baby.
It is, and this is his last movie. I mean, I read it's his last movie doing it. I mean, he's not doing any
bullshit. He's gonna do another one. I guarantee.
No, he's not. I don't think so.
Now I just want to say that I wrote a review. You can find it at thepicreview.com, where I was not as hard on this movie as I was in our podcast here tonight. And I mean, the things that I enjoyed, so it's not just a complete shit show. I like the return of Josh Duhamel. I thought Mark Wahlberg gave 110% when, like, at the end, Dark of the Moon, Shia LaBeouf was clearly phoning it in. I thought the fight between Bumblebee and Optimus was epic and worth the price of admission. But
I would say this though. The new what it was, the AF whatever thing.
TRF, Transformers Resistance Force.
I like their weapons. That was pretty cool, man. It reminded me of the Robotech. The military thing, they had a Robotech with the 2 legs.
Hey, what do you think about? Go ahead.
I like the machines and the military stuff. I mean, I always like the military stuff, man. The copters and jets and stuff like that. It's great. I would say the visuals were nice, man, but once again, it's just like it's nothing. It's no kind of cohesiveness to it. It's just fucking everywhere.
What'd you think about John Turturro's character returning, the Sector 7 guy?
I like him. I'm gonna go back on this one. I forgot about that. I like him. I like his conspiracy theories and his things like that. And, but yeah, he was in all 5 movies.
Yeah, so it was cool so he was he in Age of Extinction?
No.
He was in the original 3, just like Josh.
Yeah.
He's in the movies. Do you think that the take Transformers 1 out of it, okay? So compare Revenge of the Fallen and Dark of the Moon versus Age of Extinction and The Last Night. What's been better as a whole, the Wahlberg movies or the Shia movies, if you take the first film out?
The Shia.
Really? You think? Man, I think Revenge of the Fallen's the worst of the bunch, though, because the writer's strike.
What they was doing that time? Okay. Well, all right. Now you want my order now of the worst.
All right, let's go. You want to go best to worst or worst?
Best to worst.
All right. Okay.
And I'm going to include the first.
All right. The first one's the best. We can agree on that, right?
Right. The first is the best.
Okay.
Dark of the Moon, second.
I agree with that.
Revenge of the Fallen, third. And I would say Last Night is fourth in the Age of Extinction fifth.
Age of Extinction is the worst, plus it's 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Yeah. That's my order from the best to the worst.
Yeah, I don't
agree
know.
on that?
Here's the thing. I will tell you this. I love the opening scene from Revenge of the Fallen. I'll never forget, because everybody loved the first Transformers movie, and if they say they didn't, they're full of shit. So everybody loved the first one. We talked about that, right? So I'll never forget. It was at the end of the school year. I was in college as like a junior in college, I think, when the second one came out. We went to a midnight showing in IMAX. And that opening scene, when they dropped Optimus out of the airplane, the whole theater was clapping and cheering.
Yeah, I remember that. That was awesome.
God, I mean, you can say, and that's the thing about these movies, for as bad as they can be as a whole, they all have really epic scenes in them. Michael Bay's not good at directing films. He's really good at directing scenes. Now, sometimes those scenes go on too long, but man, that was a badass scene. I don't know. Dark of the Moon's the second best one. The stuff with the Chicago battle's freaking awesome. I like that battle.
Flying in to save everybody, kicking ass.
Yeah, that was really good. The stuff and Sentinel Prime's in that one too, right?
Right.
So,
Leonard Nimoy.
Dark of the Moon's pretty good, I think.
Yeah, that's what I said, because when the first one came out, I loved the first one. The second one, The Revenge of the Fallen, sucked. But
but everybody's like, that's the writer's strike. So maybe.
And then when Dark of the Moon came out, it was better. Come on, cat. The cat gnawing on my feet, man. But the Dark of the Moon was a step up from the second movie.
Which isn't saying much, but Age of Extinction is like the worst of the worst.
It's a clusterfuck. I'm sorry, man.
But it's like hilariously bad. That's the thing about it. I don't know. I would probably say that I like The Last Night. I think The Last Night's my third favorite one. So I would go when we're talking about the movies as a whole. So I would go the Transformers 1, then Dark of the Moon, then The Last Night, then Revenge of the Fallen, then Age of Extinction. Okay. So this is my third favorite one. And I don't know why, but I'm just going to go ahead and say it, Amos, and I'm going to catch hell for this for years to come. I enjoyed this movie. I'm not going to give you my rating yet, but I just want to tell you that for whatever reason, I enjoyed this movie because I want to talk about that post-credits, mid-credits stinger. So the lady that voiced Quintessa.
Oh, I know who she is.
Shows back up in human form, right?
That's right.
And they're excavating parts of the Unicron horns.
Yep.
And she says to them that I can help you or something. So where do you think that's going?
I don't know, man. That's just when she said that, I'm like, what? I thought, how can you help them raise this freaking planet? I don't know. And really, at the point right there, after I watched that movie, I didn't care.
Here's what I don't understand. So Unicron's an enemy of the Autobots, right?
Well, he's an enemy to Cybertron in general, to Decepticon and Autobots.
Okay, so he's such a big bad, he's like an enemy to all.
Oh, right, yeah.
At the end of this film, it's made clear by Optimus, I'll never betray Earth again. But now it's revealed that Earth is actually Unicron, the greatest enemy of Cybertron, Decepticons, and Autobots alike. So isn't that going to inevitably put Optimus against Earth?
You're gonna have to be.
That makes no sense.
Talking about. That don't make any sense. That's what I'm saying, and that's the reason why I'm so done with it. Unicron, I don't see Unicron being Earth, man. Unicron was he was a planet eater, like Galactus. He was devouring planets and robot planets, anything. You know what I'm saying? So I don't get it. I just don't. You know that Quintessa, the lady, she's in the Humans, the TV show Humans on Sci-Fi.
Really?
Yeah.
Is Quintessa a character from G1 Transformers?
No.
So it's just a brand new character.
Well, what it is in G1, they're called the Quintessons.
Okay.
They were the makers of the Autobots and Decepticons.
So she was an amalgamation of a bunch of different people. Yeah,
because the Quintessons actually, they had 5 faces. So they kind of rotated around, something like that. So yeah, I mean, in the lore, in the cartoon, it was the Quintessons. They were the makers of the Autobots and Decepticons, and they rebelled against their makers.
Okay.
So that's what I'm kind of damn. Okay, all right, I get that. So
all right, I don't have anything else to say about this film. Is there anything? I mean, we've tore it apart. We've dissected it fairly well here. I think it was entertaining. Is there anything else you want to say about this?
Oh, my goodness, man. I'm going back to my podcast I did back in, let's see, episode. What episode was that? I think it was episode 20. Oh, I know what it was. It was episode 18. I'm going back to what I said before. It is not a good movie, and I was not. I knew it was going to be bad, man. I knew it.
Was it worse than you thought it was going to be?
Man, my expectations, I had none to go in. I was just going to sit and watch. But you know what? It wasn't bad compared to the one I just said earlier, the ranking.
Yeah.
And it was better than Age of Extinction. I say that because they're not saying much, because Age of Extinction was just.
I gave that a 1-star crap rating.
Man, I should have given no star, man. So
I debated giving Age of Extinction a half a crap, just a half.
Not a whole?
No. I think you got to at least give a half because they attempted to make a film.
Right. Well, I mean, like I said, it wasn't bad. It was a little step up from Age of Extinction. And like I said, as a fan of the franchise, of the 12-line and cartoon, man, I really did not enjoy this at all. Like I said, the last 2 movies, man, no.
Will you go see another Transformers film?
Nah, not this time around. I think I'll wait till you get on Blu-ray or DVD.
Even the Bumblebee spinoff, you won't get.
No, even on Hulu. If it's on Hulu, I check it out. Nah, I'm not gonna say Bumblebee. Nah, I'm done.
Okay, Amos, let's go ahead and rate this movie. So let's do it on the confirmed epic rating scale. So crap, good, great, epic. What would you give it? You can give half ratings.
Half ratings.
Yeah.
Okay. Half a crapola.
So crap and a half or half of a crap.
Half of a crap.
So a 0.5 out of 10.
0.5. No. I'll take that back. I give you a whole crap and a half.
Okay, so crap and a half.
Yep, crap and a half. I'll take that back. Crap and a half.
All right.
My rating? I got a rating for you.
Oh yeah, okay, because this is the confirmed Amos podcast.
This is my rating. I'm going by numbers this time around.
Okay.
You're gonna rank it between the numbers of 1 and 5. What would you give it?
Between 1 and 5?
Yeah.
I'd give it a 3.5 out of 5.
Oh my goodness.
So on my scale, a good and a half, and that's what I gave it my rating. Now let me tell you why. I can't tell you why.
No.
No. I mean, the only reason I'm giving it a good and a half is based on my enjoyment of the film. I recognize the plot holes. I recognize there was parts that were just complete bull crap. But that Optimus Bumblebee fight combined with a very strong 125% performance from Mark Wahlberg and the girl that he was with, the female character, her name's Haddock, who played the character of Dr. Wembley. I thought that they really put a lot of this film's weight on their shoulders. And I mean, if the movies made me tear up, I mean, that has to say something. And I wasn't tearing up because it was so bad. I give this a good and a half. I already have it pre-ordered on 4K Blu-ray.
Oh no! Oh no!
And I know it's pretty bad when I say I recognize it's not a good movie, but for whatever reason, I enjoyed this film. And I went in with the low, like I expected a half a crap movie, right? Like just low expectations.
Brad, do you want me to be on your podcast in the near future, man?
Yeah, I do, man. As much as you can.
Dude, really, man? Oh, okay.
I'm going to confirm this at a good and a half.
Good and a half. Okay, good and a half. Okay, then.
All right, Amos. Let's go ahead and wrap up this special edition of the Confirmed Amos podcast. Where can people find more of you, my friend?
Yes, you can also find me on my webpage at justbeingamos.com. Also, all my social media handles on Instagram, Twitter at Just Being Amos. And also, you can hit me on Facebook also at Just Being Amos. Everything is Just Being Amos. You also can check out my podcast on SoundCloud and iTunes at Just Being Amos.
As for me, you can find me at Geeks Worldwide, dgww.com. This podcast has been a proud presentation of the Geeks Worldwide Radio Network. You can always find me at theepicreview.com. That's thepicreview.com. You can find me on Twitter at The Real Brad Bell. That's DREEL Brad Bell. Also, I really want to push my YouTube page. Just go to YouTube, or I should say our YouTube page, the Confirmed Epic Team's YouTube page. Go to YouTube, go to TH Epic Review. You can see a YouTube tab or YouTube search Confirmed Epic Podcast. Amos, I'm really busy trying to up my YouTube game, putting out some different YouTube segments like Rapid Reflections where I can give immediate takes on stuff, and just new series out there to give my input and to really step it up on YouTube. So go over there, subscribe to us, just search for the Confirmed Epic Podcast. Also trying to get one day at a time, I'm putting back catalog. So I put episode 1 and 2 way back from 2013 of the Confirmed Epic Podcast on our YouTube page. So working on that. It's a process to get those older episodes. Also, you may not want to buy a shirt now since you've heard my rating on Transformers 5 the last night. But if you want to support the podcast, the number one thing you can do besides listen, download, and share and click and play, which a lot of you have been doing, I'm very appreciative of that, as I know Amos is as well, for the people that listen to his podcast. I know I can speak for him on that. But if you want to support us, the Confirmed Epic Podcast, go to tpublic.com/user/the real Brad Bell, DREEL Brad Bell. Choose one of 3 shirts we have on there. We have one for the Epic Review, one for the Confirmed Epic Podcast, and one that's a very special tee dedicated to Jerry's dad, who funded our podcast and our website in the very beginning. So go check out those Confirmed Epic t-shirts now at TeePublic. And from the Hollywood foothills of North Carolina,
and also
go ahead,
from the home of Atlanta Braves and Atlanta Falcons.
You just had to throw that. Well, this is a crappy podcast anyway, because we're talking about from the home of the 2 past NFC champions, the Carolina Panthers and the Atlanta Falcons, who neither one could close the deal of the Super Bowl, 50 or 51. For Amos and the real Brad Bell, we are out.
That's all I have to say about that.
This has been a production of the GWW Radio Network. Please don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review us on iTunes, Stitcher, and SoundCloud. Also, check out Geeks Worldwide at thegww.com for all the latest news, reviews, and opinions on video games, comics, movies, TV, cosplay, and more. Geeks Assemble!
From the Hollywood foothills of North Carolina, I'm the real Brad Bell, coming at you with our very first merch pitch, which is going to be our 3 inaugural t-shirts celebrating over 4.5 years of the epicreview.com, thepicreview.com, and the official podcast of the epicreview.com, the Confirmed Epic Podcast. You're going to be able to find all of these shirts at tpublic.com/user/therealbradbell, DREEL Brad Bell. First shirt I want to show off is the Confirmed Epic Podcast logo t-shirt. Here's why I love this design and this shirt so much, because it shows off what we talk about most, what we love most on the Confirmed Epic Podcast, which is comics and film. And specifically, this also relates to comic book movies as well, as we have the word bubbles encapsulated in the splice of film. So show off to your friends your love for film, your love for comics, and your love for the Confirmed Epic Podcast in our very first logo tee. Our second shirt revolves around a blunder/inside joke that has become a staple of not only the Confirmed Epic Podcast, but our brand as a whole. And that is thepicreview.com and our thepicreview.com tee. What started as a mistake by myself by only including one E in our URL, thepicreview.com, has now become not only an inside joke, but a calling card of myself, aka Andrew Stokes, and Jerry Barbecue 17 Reed. Now you can let all your friends and family members in on that joke, as well as inform them of one of the best entertainment blogs on the internet with the epicreview.com. That's the thepicreview.com t-shirt. Last but not least, we have my favorite design of the 3, and that is the Thank You Bob Reed t-shirt. Way back when Jerry Barbecue 17 and I, as well as aka Andrew Stokes, had a dream of starting an entertainment blog, we realized it was going to be a lot of work and it was going to cost a decent chunk of change. So when nobody else believed in us, the man that gave us Barbecue 17, Jerry Barbecue 17 Reed, also funded the upstart of the epicreview.com as well as the Confirmed Epic Podcast in order to get us on the airwaves. and we now want to thank him and celebrate that man, the one, the only Bob Reed, with this badass Thank You Bob Reed t-shirt. What you have here is the most epic photograph we could find of the father of Barbecue 17, Bob Reed. Now you can show off your love for the man that if it were not for him, there would be no theepicreview.com or the Confirmed Epic Podcast. So get your Thank You Bob Reed t-shirt today. You can find all of these shirts at tpublic.com/user/TheRealBradBell, TheReal Brad Bell. We're going to be giving away one of each of these t-shirts on the Confirmed Epic Podcast, so make sure you stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, head over to tpublic.com/user/TheRealBradBell, Real Brad Bell right now, so that you can have the most confirmed epic wardrobe of all of your friends.